Hello.
Now, no. I was just gonna say I'm thinking about my James flare now, and I'm actually a lens flare all the time.
It's cool. I just have like an overexposed bit over here today, so it's pretty great.
Amazing.
Hello to chat. We have Zolan and Stuart so far saying hello. I hope you are all doing well. We're here.
Yes.
I have Gina back. So this is great. We're gonna talk some Mando. Chapter 12, The Siege. I feel like this is this is unrelated. I feel like it was a little misnamed. When I think siege, I think like 2 armies at least.
Yeah, so I do my, except for this next week's episode.
Yeah,
I don't really look up anything about it because I like to be surprised. Except for you told me that Carl Weathers directed it, which I didn't mind knowing that. That was fine knowing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it like flashed up and it was like The Siege, and I remembered your text message that you were telling me about with Django about how it's not like how you think it's going to be.
Right.
And so I was like, so they're going to this place, they're going to go take stuff out, that's The Siege. And then I was like, this is one of the things that's not how it's going to be, because this was not really a siege.
It's not really a siege. Especially when we're coming off of like Siege of Mandalore, you know, and we're like,
yeah, you're expecting a specific thing.
A leisurely stroll into a but I guess that's not as good of a title.
Like, what is the less calm version or more calm version of a siege? Like, I don't know.
A soothed.
That's the new title.
The soothed. We're discussing the soothed.
That's what happened. That's amazing. Oh my goodness. Jon Favreau, hire us. We're going to start pre-production for season 3. Where are you?
We're ready. We have the ideas.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Now, before we get into the episode, let's do a little bit of house cleaning. There's one kind of like elephant in the room we wanted to address, just because we're kind of hitting up on the first of a couple of known controversies with the show.
Yes.
If you're on Twitter, you'll know what we're talking about. If you're not on Twitter, you won't know what we're talking about, most likely. Yes. So Cara Dune is back. The actress who plays Cara Dune has been not great online. Not at all. And has very understandably upset quite a few people. So we're going to talk about the episode. We're going to keep talking about The Mandalorian. Cara, whatever, will come up because she was there. I don't even know how to pronounce her name, to be fair.
I don't either, and when I did season 1 previously, looked up this interview of Pedro saying her name first, and then I was like, this was before, she had her moments, but I was just like, I'm just gonna say it. No one's saying it right, so. But yeah, so she's gonna come up. Don't support or believe in her tweets, likes, beliefs.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
We're not on any sort of strange. I'm only on Discord. That's the only weird, potentially problematic social media platform I'm on.
I'm still sticking it out in the wretched hive of scum and villainy that is Twitter.
But anyway,
yeah, so just wanted to get that out the way.
But
welcoming to all people. Don't believe what she believes.
There you go. Speaking though of people, we also have Mr. Rez and John Barry in the chat, so welcome.
Hello.
Hope you are all. Twitter got to you and you deleted. I'm real close, Solon. I'm really, really close. John says he's editing his review. Heck yeah, as he watches the stream.
Oh, nice.
One day, Solon, one day I'll return. Always out there in the shadows.
Honestly, I feel like if we weren't in a pandemic, I would have deleted all social media a long time ago. But it's nice for social interaction.
I like Twitter because I have met wonderful people through Twitter.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But I don't actually like Twitter.
I feel like I had a really good magic bubble where I met a bunch of really good people and we're friends now. I'm just not going to meet anyone through Twitter.
This is just going.
That's just it.
It's the epitome of, well, that escalated quickly.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. But with the episode, I actually have some notes, so that's great.
Nice.
That's a lot for me to have actually taken notes. So my son
is the cutest thing in the world.
The best. He's just the best.
I can't remember if I was just saying this to you in general or if I said this on stream. Oh, adorable.
There he is.
Every single time Baby Yoda has like whimpered or been in danger, like 10 years were lost from my life. Yep. And every single time Baby Yoda cooed and was adorable, 1,000 years was added on. So I'm now basically going to live till infinity because this episode, adorable.
So adorable. I'm at this point, like, so like, if people watch my reviews from the first season, I really struggled, and I'm not sure I fully let go of Din selling my son. I understand he had to do it to get the Beskar, but like that wasn't the plan. The plan wasn't, hey kid, hold tight for like a day. I'll get my Beskar and come get you. Like that conversation didn't happen. So I'm like, okay, I get it, but like I've been like, he clearly loves him. So I'm willing to work through this. And then like so far this season, like he got eaten by that thing last week. Like, just pushed into the water, eaten by the thing. He couldn't even save him.
Right.
The other lady had to save him. And then this week, he's getting electrocuted. And I'm like, Din, we need to have a talk.
I knew that was going to happen when he was talking about the red and the fire. I was like, this is really adorable. He's like looking in on him. It's sweet, but
I was sitting there like, I'm like, he doesn't know his colors. He clearly doesn't know his colors. What are you doing?
No. Oh my goodness. It was very much because I wasn't here to talk about what's his name, Peyton Reed's episode, and I have to bring up the MCU. It was very much like Groot destroying something in one of the Guardians. It was a very, very
in Guardians 2 with the buttons, like this one. No, not the death button.
That's exactly what it was. Din as a panicky parent is something about that speaks to my soul as someone who's not a parent. It's just like every time he's just like, where I go, he goes. My son, where's my son? I'm just like, well,
he clearly cares. He clearly cares. But I'm just like,
he's just kind of bad at it, but he cares.
Although then how did you do in the scene where they drank the soup together? I thought about you in that moment.
I hope everyone who knows me watching thought about it. I died. You're talking to a ghost, by the way. I'm a specter. I don't exist. That's all there is.
Like, and I feel like the show has been like slowly giving us the tidbits of things we've all wondered. So it's like, how does he eat? Does the kid see the mask? And I don't think he has, because he was kind of like, the other lady took it off. You know.
I think meeting other Mandalorians was a tipping point in a lot of ways. Because now that he's like aware others are out there, and now like we as an audience, or like everyone's aware, the audience, the majority of our main characters who need to know are aware of like how he grew up in like this weird cultish version of Mandalorians, etc. We're gonna start getting more, but we needed that, like, jarring's not the right word, but that big moment of, no, others do it differently. And now everyone knows that others do it differently. And now we're gonna start getting more.
I think it's gonna be fun. Well, that's one thing I kind of wanted to talk about too. It's jumping ahead a little bit, but that's par for the course for us. But like the scene at the beginning, like right after the title card, where it's there, you had the three thug guys who had taken over the covert.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like clearly the I don't know if they were supposed to be like their own gang or if they were like something else, but like they that was very clearly where the Mandalorians were. And what I think is interesting about that is the armorer left, right? So I hate that whenever I say left, right. Oh my gosh. But like all the other Mandos were dead or gone, at the end of the first season. She was the one that was left, and she was collecting the Beskar. So she clearly yeeted. So she's somewhere.
She's somewhere, and we have no idea where. But she's gonna come back.
Yeah.
She has. I don't see how she could.
I need her to talk to Bo so badly.
So bad. I wanna know that conversation.
Mm-hmm. Like
so much.
Because Bo was in Death Watch and left Death Watch when Maul killed Jon Favreau. So
yeah.
That's the character's actual name. when Sam Witwer killed Jon Favreau, then Katie Sackhoff left Death Watch in real life, and then they made the documentary that is the Clone Wars. But anyway,
anyone who ever told you guys that it's fake and in space, it's wrong. It's real and in space.
it is in space, but it's real. It's real. Yep. And all of the people that are in it are reincarnated as themselves.
Yes.
You always thought that you would reincarnate into someone else, but you actually just reincarnate into yourself again.
To yourself. That's exactly what happened.
That's how
we've unlocked every mystery of the universe.
We have all been in Star Wars and died, and then we're reincarnated in ourselves. And it's like the really terrible Lost finale, where your goal is to figure out who you were, and then you will recognize that we all exist. It would make sense if you'd seen the Lost finale, but if you haven't seen the Lost finale,
I've only ever heard people complain about it, and now once this is over, really I'm going to ask you about the Lost finale.
It's really bad. I will probably, somewhere out there, there's probably like 15 fans of the Lost finale, and they're all my subscribers, and they will all leave. And that's okay.
Because they think it's the most perfect ending in the world.
And it's not. Anyway, this has nothing to do with
This is not about Lost. This is not about Lost. It happened already. What are we? 4 minutes? And
15. We're 15 minutes into this.
Okay.
And I think we have talked about Baby Yoda and wires. So we're doing real good.
So we're good. We're good. Oh my goodness. Yeah. It was adorable that he was help fixing it, though.
Yes.
I'm glad we finally addressed how much that ship is falling apart.
Yes.
I'm glad it got fixed. Like, really glad.
It needed to be fixed up quick, and it was fixed up with true Imperial efficiency, as it turns out. The one alien who was like, I saw that, and I'm like, yeah, he's totally not going to betray them all later. I was just like, with the little, like, face, like...
Okay, to take it back like a hot second.
Yeah.
Not going to rehash everything because, you guys talked about it fantastically last week. Time's not real. I don't know if it was last week. But it reminds me of the part I caught live where you were like, the guy was literally like chuckling, like chortling. And like, how do you not know? And I'm just like... For a bounty hunter, you don't notice when people are acting suspicious, do you?
Well, it's like, that's my frustration with the prisoner episode. In the first season where they did the prison break, I'm like, how do you think any of these people are not going to betray you by the end of the episode?
What he needs to do is, suddenly I don't remember timelines, but no, this already happened. Never mind. Okay, so what he needs to do is he needs to talk to Beckett's ghost. I can't believe the universe is making me bring up Woody Harrelson. I hate it. What he needs to do is talk to Beckett's ghost.
Yeah.
And learn that he needs to assume everyone's going to betray him. And then just operate on that level. And then we'll be good.
He can only trust my son. That's it. And even then, to be fair, I'm not sure he can trust my son.
I was going to say, you can't trust him to fix the crest, which he's a child. Can't trust him not to eat things. So
we've learned that one this year. Definitely can't trust him not to eat anything. Okay, we're going to jump into, because the part where he stole that kid's cookies.
Yes.
Oh my god, because like you're sitting there and you're like, are all the kids going to think he's adorable, like in the village? And they're all like, passing notes to each other or whatever. And then he's like, can I have a cookie? And they spend a long time on this kid. And I'm like, is he going to give him a cookie? And then he didn't, the little snot. And I'm like, why?
I've seen people talk about it on different ways, and I don't know, but I was like, French macaroon cookies. First of all, they exist in Star Wars.
Now we know.
That's amazing.
Now we know.
And then I was like, because when was the last time Baby Yoda used the Force? I was like, the next.
He used it on the eggs in the second episode of the season. He didn't really do much with it, but he touched the side of the thing and like the eggs moved closer to him, but it was really, really subtle. But that's, I think, the only time we've seen it this season.
Because the first season, we just saw it in like this just like big, amazing ways.
Yep.
That I was just like, is he really going to get some
to get his cookies? Yeah.
It's like, it had the exact same energy as Attack of the Clones when Anakin used it with the fruit.
I can float a pear. Don't you love me?
Also, my first thought when I saw that school was the first episode when Cobb was like, the school! And I was like, a school?
I still say the school in Mos Pelgo was not really a school.
It probably was not a school, but now I'm obsessed with schools and Star Wars.
God, I love that line. God forbid, the school. And I'm like, you mean the strip club that you call the school. That is what you mean.
Wait, okay, this tangent, like, no one's gonna understand, but that, I drove into the city, like, years ago, and I was with my sister and one of my best friends.
Yes.
And my sister goes, can we go to that bingo hall? Because bingo's dope. We all like bingo. And we're driving, and we're like, what bingo hall? She's like, the one with all the lights. And we look over, and we were like, that's a strip club. And so now it's an inside joke for all of us that anytime you like pass one of those like strip clubs or adult stores, we're like, there's the bingo. So now it's the school.
The school. I'm like, there are no kids in that town. They don't have a school.
They don't have a school.
They need something to entertain themselves.
Do you know what it is? Okay, so Jon Favreau went into the future, heard this conversation, implemented into the show because he knew this was going to happen. They mentioned the school because they knew it wasn't a school, and they showed us a school later so that we can go, so this is what a school looks like. That's definitely not a school. What's going on? Exactly. That's the story.
Agreed, obviously. Because we know that if Jon Favreau had time travel, he would use it to listen to our streams about the Mandalorian to write the Mandalorian. Obviously,
that's exactly.
It's the only use of a time machine.
That's the only one I can think of out of every use for time travel in the world. That's it.
That's the only one. So anyway, now we saw a real school.
Yeah.
And so they dwell on it for so long. You think this kid, he'll eventually like sneak with, and then he didn't. And I'm like, I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad that you used the Force to take those cookies. And the kid was even like he didn't just like take them back. Like he was so like,
he's just like, what's happening? I just got my cookies stolen.
He's like, I got my cookies stolen by a frog. I don't know what my life is anymore.
And so I really love that everyone's like whispering and like chilling in their desks, and then he's just Baby Yoda just sitting there, just like, hello, I'm cute.
Well, I want to, again, points to grief to putting him in a school, which again is better than getting eaten by something. Like, we're still improving, but like, what's he gonna do at that school? They're going over like hyperspace routes. Like there were all kinds of like Easter eggs for like the Hydian way. He's gonna be like, he needs to learn his colors. He needed a school that was like, this is red and this is blue. Right. And it's gonna be important. This is what's gonna happen. I'm sorry. Okay. This is important.
No, go ahead. Okay.
What's gonna happen is someday Baby Yoda is gonna get a lightsaber and he's gonna get a blue one. And he's going to be like, I got this. And everyone's going to be like, look at the little Jedi. And then it's going to turn out he doesn't know his colors. And he meant to get a red one. And plot twist, he actually is using a Sith lightsaber. He just doesn't know what red is.
Well, M. Night Shyamalan's the one who wrote that one.
Yep, that's the M. Night. That's the M. Night episode of The Mandalorian.
He's going to owe you some royalties, though.
We'll save this. And I'll be like, M. Night, I know you were watching the stream with Jon Favreau in the future.
Yeah. Oh my god. I think I don't know what Grief thought Baby Yoda was going to do in that school.
Yeah.
But he like got extra bonus points for his reaction when he first sees Baby Yoda.
Oh,
he
yes.
was like, just come here. Just come here.
How are you? Is he taking good care of you? And I'm like,
was like the most pure thing ever.
It's like, he said yeah. I'm like,
no, he did not.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go. I interrupted you last time.
Well, I was just going to say everything. I mean, obviously, I'm not a skilled writer, so I'm not yelling at Jon Favreau for writing this. Everything like felt like super like seamless, and it made. And so, okay, so kind of to go back to one of the discussions on the first episode is like, we're going back to Tatooine. Why are we going back to Tatooine? We knew we were going to. There were things there.
Right.
Not that you can't just randomly visit places, but I like, there to be a reason and a purpose. And so I think that going back to Navarro made sense, and it was good, and I'm okay that we did. But I just remember when like Din was delivering or Pedro was delivering his lines, and he was just like, "We're gonna go see some old friends," and I was just like, "That's awkward dialogue." but let's go.
There was a couple of points of like really awkward dialogue. Like at the end, when the one rebel guy is like, "You're from Alderaan. Did you lose anyone?" I'm like, "Yes, she freaking lost some people." And then she's like, "I lost everyone." And I'm like, obviously. And like that exchange, I was like, okay, Mandalorian, I love you as show, but.
Well, and it's because of that exchange that I think she's going to come back later.
Yeah.
Like, well, because it could have ended like where it was.
Yeah.
But it didn't. And I don't believe that they do things just to do them.
Right.
So I'm just like, thanks for shoehorning that in, so it's going to come up later. Yeah. And so it's I saw someone express they thought that all the episodes should have dropped all at once. And I like getting them every week. I'm still fine with that. But I think that's going to be one of those things where when I go back and watch it all, I'm going to be like, oh, I like that better once I go back and watch it all. But because we're still waiting, I'm just like, okay, but what does that mean?
Right.
What does that mean?
I want to share Zolan put in the chat. Honestly, to summarize the plot in the most simple way, evil man wants frog blood for sinister and possibly magical purpose, while friend helps frog through dangerous territory to be safe. This is also the princess and the frog.
I mean, yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
I just appreciated the comment.
I would like to see everyone's face on Twitter when they find out they just like the Princess and the Frog. They thought they were getting this space opera, space western. However people read Star Wars, whatever they're here for, fantasy, dude bro, whatever thing. And the whole time, everyone just like Princess and the Frog.
Well, it's like when somebody pointed out that Iron Man 3 is just The Incredibles.
Wait, hold on. This is new information to me.
Oh, it is? Okay, so like at the beginning, there's the guy that really looks up to Tony, and he's like, LOL, I'm gonna dump you on the roof. And then he's Syndrome. He's...
Iron Man 3 is totally The Incredibles.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Iron Man 3 is my favorite.
There you go. So now, I will send you the how it should have ended for Iron Man 3, because that's what pointed it out to me.
That's amazing.
It's pretty good.
Okay, I'm gonna live off that fact for like the whole weekend. That's amazing.
It's changed your life. John with the big facts over here. Also, I've concluded that the New Republic does not have laws like the U.S.'s Posse Comitatus Act, since we see the military engage in law enforcement duties in 2 episodes. It's fair. I don't think they have... I mean, I understood all of the words you just said. I just didn't think about it at all.
It took me a second, but then I was like, that's...
Yeah, it's correct. I don't think they have much of a government at this point. Or at least that far out. I mean,
Especially fairness... most of the time they're like...
In fairness, it was law enforcement duties, sort of, but like also not in New Republic worlds at all. So it's not like enforcement duties in their own territory, if that makes sense. I liked at the end, because we're going to keep going completely out of order, I liked at the end when Grief was like super passive aggressive, like, the next time you come all the way out here, or, out here we don't have computers that know pre-Empire ships. Like, he's just like constantly like, why are you
I really love. And he was like, I don't remember exact words. Razor, you know.
And
he's
like
here.
the boss energy, the way he just has like his legs up on the table, I'm like, you are letting him know exactly how you feel about him.
Which my brain goes not in that many directions, but so many directions, because I'm just like, so glad they kept him.
Yep.
How could you ever think that you were going to get rid of him? How did you ever think we weren't going to see Carl Weathers' face?
Right.
And the fact that he directed this episode, so he was like, and here's how I'm gonna, and here's how I'm gonna do it. And it was perfect.
I was talking to, I think it was Django. It was like he directed Baby Yoda better than like, oh no, maybe it wasn't Django. I think it was Django, or it was in my Discord, not my Discord, but Discord server. Somebody told me that they think Carl Weathers directed Baby Yoda better than like anybody else so far. And I'm like, you know?
Do you know what? Okay, so in my head, I know how directing works, but in my head, Carl Weathers only directed the scenes that he was in, and I know that's false. But now that you say that, I think that Grief's love and fascination with Baby Yoda is not acting, but simply Carl Weathers' love and fascination with Baby Yoda, which is why it's so flippin' adorable.
Yep. It's funny because I do remember. I was texting Django and I was like, "Give Carl Weathers this show," but it makes sense because he would just then really emphasize all of the Baby Yoda things, and then like because like Django had already seen it, so whenever one of us has seen it first, we basically live text the episode to the other person, whoever's seen it first. And he saw it first today, so then I was texting him like, "Oh, at the end when they're flying around the Razor Crest, I'm like, my son did not get my weak stomach," and then he threw up, and I was like, "Oh, never mind, he did."
Oh my goodness. Oh. But whenever he was flying and his hands were in the and I was like, you even think of these adorable things. I just can't. That was adorable.
It was so cute.
And I was like, everything. I don't like that kind of stuff and things.
Yeah.
But that was somehow cute. I don't know how that's possible.
He's like, ah. Well, and it worked because he had no idea he was in danger at any point in time. He's just like, we're going for a ride.
Yeah, he was like, I'm with Dad. We're going for a ride. This is happening.
I have my cookies. The fact that he still had the cookies, I was like, yes.
I just realized now, because I'm a gallery, we get Carl Weathers like double as an actor and a director. Oh, now I'm extra excited. That's gonna be dope.
Yep, that's true. That's true. They do if we get gallery again. Oh my god. I hope he gets more episodes because I think this did really well.
He was like really, really good. This episode really hit all the points that I didn't know I had because I never have points when it comes to The Mandalorian.
Well, I mean, to that though, there's some big stuff that happened that we haven't even touched.
People are just like, they're like 30 minutes in and they haven't talked about any of the like life-altering revelations that have happened in this episode. And that's how we work.
We'll get there eventually. We have to discuss the important things first, like the Incredibles.
We have to discuss Incredibles and wires and seeing a chin. Yep. And that's it.
Oh. Okay, so yeah. So to kind of play catch up, in season 1, there was a lot of speculation because Dr. I think Pershing is his name. Yeah. But the Doctor had Kaminoan logos on his arm. And the 2 guys that got shot had the same logos. And so it had a lot of people to wonder, like, is Baby Yoda a clone himself? Which now I think we can mostly say no. Because it sounds like they were using his blood to make clones. So there's a lot. There's a lot to dissect here. Did we talk about Gene Guy yet? Did we talk about who's Gene Guy?
Oh, apparently someone was in there actually in it, but I saw in tweets someone was just like in their jeans in the thing.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That's hilarious. Jeans exist in Star Wars.
That's funny. This is what happens when I'm not on Twitter. I miss out on these more important points.
They said you forgot the most important part.
Jeans Guy. But speaking of jeans, cloning. So like, there's a lot. Okay, so this episode really felt like, I don't know if you're familiar with the Dark Forces games from Legends. They're like the Kyle Katarn games. This like literally felt like a level out of one of those games, only the heroes actually could hit things, which never happened when I was playing the games. The hero never hit anything. But the troopers at the end looked like a thing called, oh frick, I had to get this right, dark troopers. So there's too many kinds of things. So there's death troopers, and the death troopers are the things from Rogue One. But there's these things called dark troopers from Legends. And in Legends, they were stormtroopers that were imbued with force juju to become force sensitive stormtroopers. So I'm wondering if those are dark troopers.
Did anyone watch this with the, because okay, so I was on Twitter.
Yep.
And someone said watch the last scene with the descriptive audio
I've
on.
I've heard about that. Yep.
So I did, and then they described all of the suits
as dark troopers, right? That's what I've heard.
I think that's what they described, because as soon as you said that, I was like, wait, that's familiar to me.
The Discord server I'm in said that there was something about that with the descriptive audio. I haven't done it myself, but yeah, dark troopers in Legends, and there's a couple different versions of dark troopers, because of course there are, but like there's one particular kind that because John, you're correct, there are dark troopers that had droid parts installed to becoming part cyborgs. That is also a thing. There's a couple there's different phases of dark troopers. Caleb, hello, thought they were Darth Vader armors, and it came to the conclusion that Gideon was cloning Vader. Well, I mean, that's not a bad theory, though.
I thought that for a half second, and nothing disputed that. So that did come to my mind. So I support you.
I mean, like, to be fair to yourself, Caleb, it's really hard to see what they were in that last scene. So I don't think I would blame anyone for what they thought they saw there. But so there's that, and then like there was my first thought when we saw the lab was like, are there pickled Snokes again?
Because we're all Palpatine's
clones.
It always comes back to that.
And you never know when a Pickles Snoke might appear. They could just show up at a moment's notice.
That's amazing. Yes.
The other thing I noticed my second time through, the Pershing's message talked about a volunteer. Hey, Georgie's here. Welcome, Georgie. Snoke jars, exactly. You showed up right as I said, was talking about pickled Snokes, of course. There's a line of dialogue where Pershing says, like, the volunteer might die. And I don't think he means Baby Yoda getting blood extracted, because he's not a volunteer. So I wonder if Gideon wants force injections.
When he, in that message, said the donor with the higher M count, I lost my absolute. I was like, for everyone who ever hated on midi-chlorians.
They're here. They're here, and you can't do anything about it. Zolan says, I thought shadow troopers, since they're basically dark troopers in specially made suits. I think it's going to be something like that. Because, like, shadow troopers and dark... Legends stormtroopers are ridiculous. Like,
I'm like super into this right now.
It's ridiculous. It's so confusing. Because there's death troopers and dark troopers and shadow troopers, and they're all different things. And then they've been brought into new canon in different ways, and it's just like, guys... but okay. But like shadow troopers would be along that line. So like whatever we get might be called dark troopers, but it could be like that. Exactly.
This whole time I was thinking, it's like I really like death troopers. They're like my favorite so far, but that might be changing with the information that you're giving me. But because at the end, we see the X-Wing or whatever on the ground, and we got ties. We got ties in this episode, which I love so much that I got one tattooed on me. The whole time, it was my first tattoo, and the whole time I was just thinking, the Empire and the bad guys get like such good ships, good uniforms. I want
for
to
a second. I thought you were going to break my no language rule on the stream, but then you said ships.
You know what though? I accidentally almost broke it earlier, and I caught myself. So that's hilarious. And so yeah, just someone season 3. Let me play bad guy. I'll do it. I'll die on the show. Just let me do it.
And then all of us on Twitter can be mad on your behalf that they killed you.
Thank you. That whole last chase scene, I want that to be a ride.
Yes, right?
I want that, and I would like, yeah, this, because I mean, you went to Disney World,
Galaxy's
I
Edge.
think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hollywood Studios.
Because I couldn't remember if it was Land or World and
Yep.
if they exist in either. But I was like, I know they do dark rides there, and I don't know what happens in them because I want to be surprised eventually when I go. But I was like, they could do this as a ride, and it would be dope. So now I want to ride.
They do something similar on Rise of the Resistance, for like the first part of Rise of the Resistance.
Oh, I can't wait to ride that one day.
You'd love it. It was so good. Caleb says, my dad, who has only seen the movies, was super confused. He has no idea who Ahsoka or Bo-Katan are. And last episode, he was kind of tuning out with the weird experiments in this episode. Yeah, so that actually brings up a really interesting question I've seen a couple of people pose. Is this show, like, has this show left the point where if you've seen the movies, you can understand this show? Or, like, at what point is it relying too much on other knowledge?
What I think is interesting, I mean, obviously people are, going to have different and varying opinions. I've seen people who said, I've never watched the animated shows, never really paid attention. And I just felt like I was meeting, someone new. I didn't need to know who they were.
Right.
I think if you think like the title, The Heiress, you're wondering why was it called that? It was so interesting. I saw so many like pop culture articles that were like everything you need to know. And so I'm sure that there's going to be arcs binged and viewed. So I have seen people who said that they don't, and my dad casually watched like the Clone Wars and Rebels and all that. He was like, yeah, I vaguely remember like, who Bo is and stuff, so it makes sense. So at this point, I don't think that we have, but John Deep Cut Favreau, I think maybe make it there one day.
Yeah, he
might. Continues to make things.
Just one day, it's an episode entirely of ice cream makers. Nothing else. Just 35 minutes of ice cream makers. And he's sitting there like, this is the best. And Dave is like... And then, at the end, one of the ice cream makers is Dave. And Dave is just like... And that would be one of the episodes.
Now you know the Jon Favreau who came... saw that and is running with it.
He's like, that's a great... He's like writing it in his notebook. That's a great idea.
There's a section on the planet of Yoda where it's just running
all ice cream makers. I kind of agree with George. I really agree with Georgie, I should say, that the way information's being presented so far, you don't need to. They're like the Smurfs. You don't need to know. Like, obviously you miss out on some of the excitement. Like, I think, like the Bo-Katan reveal scene, you can kind of tell that this character is supposed to be important. But, like, if you don't know why, you don't know why. And you might be a little bit confused, and there might be a mystery, maybe, for you.
Yeah.
But I think it's okay to not know. Like, at this point in the show, it's okay to not know who Ahsoka Tano is. Just that she's a Jedi. Okay.
So that's what I was going to ask next, because I think if someone doesn't know who Bo is, that's a lot more understandable. And obviously, like, you have the years, like, people... I know, I hear it too. You hear
Don't be afraid, I hear it too.
Oh gosh. We've had so many years, people know who Vader is. I've met people who've never seen Star Wars at all. Don't know anything about Luke, like parentage, Leia, any of that, but you know who Vader is. And so I'm wondering if we're at the point where people just know who Ahsoka is. Because even though she wasn't like well received when we first got her, I feel like something about her character is just like, I don't know. I feel like we might be getting to that point where people just hear her name, and if they've never seen any of the shows, they're still just like, hey, but like she's important. So I don't think you have to know who she is, but I think we're getting to the point where people just genuinely know who she is.
It's funny because my mom has never really watched Clone Wars. Like, she's been in the room when I've watched it, but she's never really sat down and watched an episode. But she really likes her Universe clothes, and my mom has the Her Universe Rose jacket that she just like wears all the time. And so she knows who Ahsoka Tano is because she knows Ashley Eckstein, because she loves Ashley Eckstein. And so literally I was watching the episode with my mom, and you hear Ahsoka Tano, and she's like, "It's the lady who made my coat." It was like her response.
I love that so much.
And I'm like, I love that that's how she knows Ahsoka Tano.
It's so interesting because I remember like 4 years ago or whenever I was in college, I had a sticker of Ahsoka on my laptop, and I was in class, and someone looked at my laptop, and they got like the biggest like shock, like their eyes got so big, and they were like, "You know who Ahsoka is?" And I was like, "Yes." And they were like, "And you like her?" And I was like, "Yes." And because I had become a fan of Star Wars like so many years later, I was just like, I didn't know we were still on the, obscure phase. I really thought that everyone thought we were in the generally accepted phase. I guess we're
knows
not.
who she is. It was really funny. Yeah, I feel like everyone probably has seen, like, if you're involved at all, or if you have like kids at all, like you've probably seen a picture of Ahsoka Tano. Maybe you don't know. Like the next week, in theory, probably. I mean, next week. You'll probably have a lot of people go, "Oh, I saw her on a lunchbox." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if kids still have lunchboxes or if they just eat off their phones now, but
Ow. Ow. It's really funny. But
I got this app where I can just look at a hamburger, but it's vegan. I don't know.
Ow. One of the best tangents ever. Okay.
Georgie goes, we get our nutrients through blue light on our devices. Exactly.
It's true. That's exactly what happens.
Oh man. Georgie says mystery is part of storytelling styles, and I think they want to be really more mysterious. With Mando, you mean? I think so too. Like, it's kind of fun in a way because like you can kind of see where things are going and connect, but at the same time I still have like no idea how a lot of these things.
No, yeah. I think one thing
Bear,
I always
welcome.
Oh, hello. I think one thing I always constantly bring up is pacing.
Yeah.
And I can't describe it because I don't know terms for it, but even with like I think we've come to expect a specific pacing from the movies, especially the trilogy movies that we've gotten.
Yeah.
And I think with the animated shows having arcs and being more like an anthology, like we got a specific set, but then it was a formula that worked well for the shows. And we do definitely have one for the Mandalorian, but I just think it's interesting that I don't think it's entirely like the shows we've already gotten, and I also don't think it's entirely like the movies. Like I continually forget that we looked at Boba Fett like all the time.
Sorry, I just laughed at Georgie in the chat.
Oh, no, you're fine. And so like the threads they leave and when they pick up, I think are incredibly interesting. Like they didn't have to name drop us in that one episode.
Right.
They just got her.
Right.
But I don't know. It's all very interesting.
I agree. I'm really interested in where all this goes. But like, so let's kind of talk through, now we have some idea, right? Because I was talking last week when I had Django and Ray on, and we were trying to figure out like, there's so many moving parts to what's going to happen with this show. Because like now we still have Bo out there who wants to go after Gideon, and there's no way we don't see her again.
We're seeing her again, yeah.
We still have Gideon who still wants the child, so like we're gonna have their paths cross. Now we have Ahsoka and the dinguses. Sorry, I say that with love, but like Gideon's gonna follow them to Ahsoka. So when they can't take too many midichlorians out of Baby Yoda, freaking, it's all gonna be over there.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So we're gonna have some problems.
We are gonna have some problems. I think. Well, okay.
They're gonna show up on a retirement home.
Because I just went to go look up how many episodes were left in the season.
I think 4.
And there are
right?
4.
Yep.
There are 4. And one thing I think is super interesting is that next week's episode had a title. So I'm just like, who wrote that? Who corrected it? I wonder if, because you bringing that up is a really good point. I didn't even think about that. like, is the whole episode, because I'm just assuming it's about Ahsoka. Is
Right.
the whole episode about her? Or is like the first 15 minutes about her? Because they've proven that we'll have a runtime of however long it takes to tell the story. It doesn't have to be like 30 minutes or an hour.
Right.
So now I'm just really, because they could just do like a pit stop.
Yep.
I'm not really a Jedi anymore. Like shows up.
Right.
I don't know. I have no idea.
My preference, I don't know what they're going to do. My preference, and I say this, and I'll kind of go back to the thing Django has said a couple of times, which is the show keeps giving me what I didn't think I wanted in a way that I really like. But like my preference would be for next week to be really Ahsoka heavy, and like she's in the whole episode, but then like the large part of her presence in the show is done, right? Rather than the show become about Ahsoka, and like not that she can never show up again, but like maybe her part in the season at least is done, and like that way we get our time with her. It's not just like a drive-by cameo, wave, snap a picture, you know, move on. But like we get to spend some time with Ahsoka, and then we've done it. Like we've done the thing, and like because the big thing is he's supposed to be taking the Baby Yoda to her to be like, okay, here you go, and he's gonna walk up and go, "You're not green," you know what I mean? Like, I'm very confused because I think Jedi is a species, and how's that gonna go? And would Ahsoka even want to keep Baby Yoda? She we don't know where she's at in her Find Ezra mission at this point in time.
Do you know what's also going to be really interesting? Is how she frames the Jedi and who they are. Because we already know that he thinks about, you know, Mandalorians in a specific way because of, you know, who told him about and how they frame. So I wonder how present that's something I just realized I'm super into, how she presents Jedi and who they are. Because she could tell him, like, they're like this. They're, you know, we're supposed to be, you know, keepers of the peace. We did that. And then he's like, well, there's no way I'm leaving my son with that.
Right.
It could be like, you know, plan B. Okay, now I want to know how she presents.
Georgie goes, how will she frame the Jedi? And then all caps, that was so loud. So he's really, really on a page with you. So there you go.
Thank you. Well, we're together.
you two would vibe. You two would vibe. I gotta get you guys a jet. Caleb had said something too. I think it was Caleb about Din eventually not wearing the helmet as much, and I think that's something.
Can't wait for that day. Gina's pumped. I will never shut up that day.
That's fine. It'll be a good day.
Yep.
It'll be a good day. So, but like, I'm so interested because I don't see a world where Baby Yoda gets left with Ahsoka. I just don't. No. Like, if it happens, it's for like an episode, and then Baby Yoda runs away, and finds it'll be like Homeward Bound, but with Baby Yoda.
The other thing I'm attempting to do when Ahsoka comes up is understand who she is, but also at the same time not think about her who she is, because I think we were very lucky with I feel like Bo animated and in real life matches up, but not that like Ahsoka's better, but there's just like so much more expectation there that I don't want to be disappointed. So I'm also attempting to just be like, remember where she is in her journey, because so much, and then also how much of animation I trust it because Dave Filoni's doing it and this is like his character, but like I don't want to watch it and then be like, well, I didn't like that one as much.
Right.
She's live action. So I'm attempting to like also divorce all these ideas from this, so I'm not disappointed in how she acts.
I'm betting on we'll spend like whatever time we have with her, we aren't actually going to get a lot of insight into where she's actually at in her journey, because it's going to be more about like the mystery of Din meeting a Jedi for the first time, right? And I'm anticipating a week from today a lot of very frustrated Rebels fans when we still don't know where Ezra is.
Yeah, probably.
When he's like, she'll just be like, I remember this time I went looking for someone. And then says nothing else. And then everyone will be like, just because Dave is like that level of troll. Like, I feel like he's going to say something so vague that everyone will be like, and then that'll be it.
And then we're gonna get 5,000 articles. People who are like, "You missed this one Easter egg. Go watch all the Rebels," and then it's gonna be good.
It'll be good stuff. But, you know, I'm really interested in how all of this weaves together.
Do you think that Gideon is going to get Baby Yoda at least one more time? Or they're not going. They're like going to keep them apart.
I think that Gideon will eventually inject midichlorians into himself. I think it'll get that far.
Because Dennis said far too many times, like, you know, we stick together for them to actually stick together.
Right. No, I agree. And I think that Gideon's arc is going to be becoming the monster kind of a thing. I think he's going to inject himself with some midichlorians. He's going to be like, I'm super powerful and awesome, but now I'm crazy. And
although
I think that's going to go that way.
I'm curious because obviously they needed him alive because but then at the beginning, was it the client who was like, "Oh, sure, he can be dead," because Dr. Pershing was like, "We would prefer alive," which makes sense for what we've just learned. So like, why even add if you only get him dead? I think we'll take him dead.
Maybe just to keep him out of the hands of others who might try to do the same thing. Like, if the Empire can't have him, no one can. But that part always kind of bothered me. Anyway, I'm like, you make this big deal about needing the best, and then after he leaves, you send out the whole town. It's like, that was like, I didn't have a lot of logical problems with the first season, but that was one of them where I was like,
I feel like that's one of those things where we, like the different audiences, we as an outside audience know that, like, so some people knew there was a kid.
Yep.
I don't think anyone knew it was Baby Yoda.
No one knew, yeah.
But we as an audience knew that, okay, this guy, like, is operating in a gray area.
Yep.
But he's our protagonist, so we're gonna kind of like him.
Right.
So, like, from an us standpoint, it, like, doesn't make sense because we're just like, he's gonna do the right thing, like, eventually. Right. But from, like, an in-show standpoint, it's just like, he's a ruthless guy. He's gonna, does that make sense?
No, it does, yeah.
So, us watching, we're just like, that doesn't, like, if we were we are living in it because you just confirmed that we've all been reincarnated.
We've been reincarnated. We just have to find who we are in Star Wars, and it'll work.
Yeah.
I don't know who I am in Star Wars, but I'm clearly Baby Yoda's mother. So once we meet Baby Yoda's mother, I'll be like, that's me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's 4 episodes left. And again, I think next week will be a lot of people were anticipating like a Gideon Ahsoka meetup. But like, I really think it's going to be a Gideon Bo meetup.
Yes.
For Mandalore, right? Like, she wants to take back Mandalore. So I think Gideon will show up, and I think what'll happen is she'll be like, this guy is up to no good. I have to go away to keep finding the mysterious lost boy that I won't name, but I'll just wink and nod about. And, that'll be like, she'll be like, the Jedi is not a species. It's not a place, it's a people or something. I don't know. And then, sorry, that was a reference that didn't make sense. I tried. It was a stretch. Didn't work. But
no, it just took me back to Thor Ragnarok.
Exactly. Anytime I can take us back to Idris Elba is never a bad thing. But like, I feel like we have that, and then we have Gideon and Bo, and then the question is, Boba, does he come back this season, or is he a shout out to a 3rd season?
Yeah, it just seems so weird maybe he's like a bookend, because to me, why would you introduce that in the first? Well, and granted, okay, you get me thinking so many things. They've given us so much that I've forgotten about him, but I also didn't care in the beginning, so maybe that also adds to it. But you give us like this tidbit shout out in the beginning, just to like give it to me next season. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But also so much has happened that I like don't mind
No,
because I'm being given good content.
Yeah. Cause like I just with the Georgie and I are having a conversation. I don't mean Idris specifically, but I mean I get that. Also, don't call me Jesse. And we'll continue this later. Sorry, we're having a thing. Frick, what was I even saying? With at least with the character popularity, we cannot not have Cobb Vanth back. Like, he's coming back at some point. He took over the internet. No, he's right. This is what our DMs are like. It's just us yelling at each other. It's fine.
Okay, so I didn't think about this until now. If the second episode we had gotten Boba Fett, and he would have been like, "That's my armor," whatever, given his explanation about whatever happened.
Right.
I think Din would have been kind of hostile about it because he has his experiences with Mandalorian culture and armor. And I, once again, don't know a lot about this character. But, people argue about whether he's actually, like, a Mandalorian or not. But I think in order for him to talk to Boba Fett, he had to have met
Cobb.
Bo and everyone and Cobb.
Oh, and understand I see what you're saying. Yep.
How other people view Mandalorian culture. So he needed to be more open before he meets Boba Fett and hear his story. And so he had to have that meeting first. And that actually makes sense now that I'm thinking about it. Because I don't think he would have accepted Boba Fett. He'd been like, go back in the Sarlacc pit, man.
Exactly. I agree. I think that Cobb, and I was really appreciative of that after we got Bo, because Cobb was so cool just as a fan inclusion thing to pull somebody from the the novels like that. But then him dealing with, this person who wasn't really wearing Mandalorian armor to then go to Bo, it made, like, it was fan service and it was pulling from a novel, but it also had a purpose. Like, there was a good reason to do it, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah. So we're opening up his view.
I'm still holding out now that Boba is who walked up to Finnick in the Tatooine episode. I've said that multiple times. I just don't think we're done there with everything that's going on. I think Boba has started, like, it's like the X-Men, but it's a school for people everyone thought died in a desert but didn't.
Yes. I'm on board with this.
And so then you just go there, and then there's actually just like a team of like all these different people, and they don't have superpowers. Just everyone thought they died in a desert, and now they go around and cause crime.
I was gonna say, do you remember that hot second in The Force Awakens when we all thought Poe was dead? Yep. He was just chilling with the rest of the desert.
He can be a part. How, like, you always had like the New Avengers or like Teen Titans or something. Like, Poe is a part of the second desert squad. Yeah.
But then he quit so he could go back and be with his best friends and the love of his life. So.
Exactly. Perfect. That's how it goes. But yeah, so that's my superhero spinoff team up, is all the people you thought were dead in the desert and not, and they're just best friends.
Lucasfilm, hired Dope Tuna Productions.
Hire Dope Tuna, because we have the ideas. We have the ideas. So this is a true story, and it's a total tangent, but it's important. So I don't talk a lot about my work on the channel on purpose for privacy reasons and just whatever, but like, I work in media, which is very vague, but I work in media. If you're in my Discord, you know where I work, but like, whatever. So now all the people who want to creep on me can just join my Discord, and I'm not being that private, but it's fine. Anyway, I work in media, and we were missing a half-hour kids program that needed to be a thing. Oh, Georgie goes, in all caps, Regina B, the letter B, my friend.
Yes.
Yes,
we'll be friends.
So there you go. He's really excited about Storm Pilot fans.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
We're friends now. Perfect. That's all it took. We're friends.
Okay. But anyway, we needed to air this half-hour kids show. We didn't have it. So my boss walks up to me, and he's like, Jess, it's getting real bad. We don't know what to do. You might have to like come up with a half-hour kids program. And I went, okay. And then I went home and I came back to work the next day with a binder with 3 proposals in it of 3 different ideas of 3 different kid shows we could do. And one of them was a puppet show, and I had made 2 puppets out of paper bags. And I brought that all in literally the next day. And I presented it to him, and he just looked at me. And I was like, these are my pitches for the half-hour kid show you said I could do. And he just looked at me and never made a joke to me again.
Do you know what that also means, though? In another life, you were a teacher. That's a total teacher thing. You educated, like, elementary kids. I love this.
He just looks at me like, why did you do that? I'm like, I have 3 kid show proposals.
I love that. Oh, so here's what we're going to do.
Yep.
I am going to go to the center of television because that's how television works.
Yep.
And I'm going to go talk to the CEO president of television because that's how television works.
Yep.
Of television. And I am going to buy a channel and a streaming platform because that's how that works.
Yep.
And then we're gonna put all 3 of your shows and every Star Wars thing we've ever thought of on here, and our version of Tross and everything, the Dumpster Fire edition. Yeah, we're just gonna
which have we still need to make on here, by the way.
That's true. Everyone needs to know. You guys, it's
we rewrote Tross, and it's amazing.
We did, but and depending on who you are, I know you're thinking some things. Yep. Whatever you're thinking is wrong. It's good. Wrong. Whatever you're thinking, it's not that.
It's not that, but it's good. The Dope Tuna Dumpster Fire edition of Tross is the actual version. Everyone's always like, this is how I would have written it, and they just changed, and I'm like, no.
Here's the thing.
I do too. I love Tross, Caleb. I love Tross.
So that's how you know that it's going to be good, because I'm.
Yeah.
And we create. And here's the thing. Our only crime against humanity is the fact that we have not released this version.
It's true.
Because it will heal.
It will heal all wounds.
And it will heal all wounds, all of time.
Yep.
All of every fandom. Every single fandom.
If you hated Tross, you'll be happy. If you love Tross and you think it's perfect, you'll be like, I didn't think perfection could be better, but it is.
But it is.
It's true.
It's great.
Yep. Great. It's way better. It's almost as good as the version of Tross I sent you, which was only Bulio scenes. It was 14 seconds long, and that was a great video.
It was an amazing video. Oh my gosh.
We've hit the point where we are not talking about the Mandalorian.
Not anymore, no. But at least we're still on Star Wars.
It's true.
Well.
It's true. But no, actually though, speaking of Rise of Skywalker, with the clones, I think they're going to connect all of these experiments to Palpatine clones eventually.
Oh, I like that. I actually really, really like that.
I do think that's going to be a thing. Maybe not right away. I don't know if Gideon is doing it knowingly. Like, I don't know if it's Gideon's, like, because somebody asked this on Twitter, and I think it was Mick, who was here last week, and he's in the Discord now. But asked if I thought Gideon is the big bad or if Gideon's working for someone. And I think that's an excellent question, because somebody pointed out Favreau had said in an interview we would see origins of First Order in some way in the show. The one Imperial lady was like, you'll have a part in the new era, and there's all of this stuff. My thing is, if Gideon works for someone, he's not a true underling, because he's not afraid of anybody.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, he's a Moff, so, like, if he's a part of anything, he would literally be, like, he would have very few people above him anyway. But, like, I think it's an interesting notion of, like, is he working for something? And, like, so is he working with this cloning thing just for himself because he wants these superpowers, or is he knowingly a part of what's going to become the First Order
because I can't remember if it was on here, just a general conversation, or like on Twitter or something, but I do remember someone posed a question. Does like Gideon actually truly care, about the Empire or the bad guys?
Yep.
Or is he like, well, chilling with them is to get to my, it's means to an end to get to what I want. And I can't wait to find out his motivations. That's gonna be nice. Do you think we're gonna, not like a whole episode about him, but do you think it's gonna be like slowly we piece together all these little things, or do you think we're gonna get like a villain monologue?
Oh, Gideon's gonna monologue.
I'm excited for a monologue.
Gideon has to monologue. I think there will be a whole episode that is just a monologue. And you'll be sitting there like, are other things going to happen? And then you're going to go, I don't want them to. Like, he's going to capture my son. And then the whole episode will just be him monologuing to Baby Yoda. And like, full, like, he is so serious. And Baby Yoda's just sitting there like, and like trying to learn red from blue,
And then by the end of it, us as an audience will go, he made several points.
He made points. Points were made.
Points were made. Oh my goodness, that's what it's going to be. When Baby Yoda and Din get separated, and he's just like freaking out being a panicky parent, and then Gideon's going to be monologuing, and then out of nowhere, someone's going to come in, and we're going to be like, is that Bo or is that Ahsoka who's coming with Din, and then it's going to be the frog lady who just comes in. She's going to be like, I'm here to rescue everything. And then it turns out that the show is about Frog Mom the whole time.
That's
time. Exactly what
plot
it is.
twist.
The whole time.
She
That's
just comes
what we mean by Princess and the Frog.
she gives them all a mom lecture, but it's still in the frog language.
That's exactly what's gonna happen.
Yes. We have more discussion in the chat. We've Caleb was, what he was saying is let down with lack of Storm Pilot and LGBT representation in general, which is not alone on. But like Storm Pilot, I mean, the thing is too, like Storm Pilot was not a crack ship. Like that's the thing. It was not a crack ship. Like so often with LGBT stuff, it's the crack ship because you don't have anything else. But Storm Pilot wasn't a crack ship. Like it was there.
There was this one like Amazon or Amazon Prime ship like feels canon but isn't.
Yeah,
and that's just like the number one. Yeah. I'm just that was real.
Storm Pilot. Yeah, I mean, I was just real. Like, well, and if you read Resistance Reborn, like Rebecca Roanhorse is a Storm Pilot. Like she is clearly a Storm Pilot. Like I was reading some parts in there, like, oh my, okay.
Like God bless. Yeah. That.
Oh man, but yeah,
we are all on the same wavelength. It's a good feeling.
It is. Oh, but yeah, yeah, I do have to get going. But this was good. We discussed a lot of things. I mean, like I feel like a lot of questions were posed, and we could speculate on them.
Yeah. Really, at this point, I want the episode.
Yeah,
I want to know.
What's gonna happen. I think a lot's gonna hinge on Ahsoka, right? Like, so I was thinking about this because I sent you the same text that Django sent me of like this episode isn't gonna go how you think it's gonna go, and it was before I knew what it was about. I was like, what if he goes to see Ahsoka, but it's not Ahsoka, but she's like, I'm Ahsoka. Because like think about it. Everything about this is a total crack theory, and I'm going to be wrong next week. So I'm just going to let everyone know. I'm aware I'm wrong, but I want to get a little crazy for a second. So much from this season has leaked. Episode titles have leaked, casting has leaked, characters being in it have leaked. The one thing that hasn't leaked that I'm aware of is an actual image of Ahsoka. What if the person Din goes to see isn't Ahsoka at all? Like clearly not even Togruta. And he's like, "Are you Ahsoka Tano?" And she's like, "Yes." And then he thinks he met her, and it's not. And then like Willow will be like, "Din, that's not Ahsoka."
I support this because there was a level. I support this theory because there was a level of tension that came from us knowing who Bo was and that she's good, and us knowing who Din is and that he's good, but them not knowing each other, and we're just like, just trust each other and understand. So there's a level of tension from us knowing exactly who Ahsoka is and what she stands for and what she believes, and him not knowing a single thing. And I now support this theory that's going to
I
be
would
wrong.
lose my mind if next week it's not Ahsoka. It's just somebody claiming to be Ahsoka. I think that would be an incredible plot. I don't think they're gonna do it. But there's just so much, like, so much has leaked, and there hasn't been, like, and the fact that they're like going to it, like, I don't know. I think it could be something really wacky. Like, it's not her.
I'm so curious.
And like I said, I'm gonna be wrong, and she's gonna be in the opening scene before the title card even, and there's not actually gonna be any other characters, and it's just gonna be Ahsoka Tano sitting there for 45 minutes. But I'm just saying.
But that would be amazing. Oh my goodness.
It would be amazing if it was not Ahsoka.
I can't believe we have to wait a week.
I know, to find out how wrong I am. I'm on pins and needles to find out just how wrong I am.
This is interesting. Oh my goodness.
But this is insight to what I would write. Like, in all seriousness, not even like, I mean, I would seriously write Planet of Yodas, but like, if I was seriously writing this show, that's what I would do. Is I'd be like, it's Ahsoka Tano, and it's like, oh well, it's a Rhodian named Ahsoka Tano, you know, and everybody would be like, okay, you know.
Do you know what I don't remember his name because I only saw this movie like 4 times, but it's gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm Ahsoka. I leave, and then there's gonna be a phone call, and it's gonna be some song from the 70s or 80s because once again, Star Wars is real. And then we're gonna hear like the other voice, and then the person's gonna address that person, and they're gonna call them Ochi of Bestoon, and then it's gonna be Ochi instead, and it's not Ahsoka.
A Sochi. It's a Sochi of Bestoon. The Soothsayer.
Someone give us. So we have. Someone also give us a visual dictionary
of like all of the words we just make up during a stream. One day, I want to be famous enough to have crazed fans that will do that, and then hope that they never find my address because they might also be crazed enough to just show up at my house. But like, I would love it.
I know that I'm never going to be famous, but sometimes I wonder about the things that I like put on the. Be like, you were really doing that, and I'm going to be like, yeah, I was.
Here we are.
No shame. No shame.
None. Oh man, Caleb says, I mean, Baby Yoda didn't leak. There was precedent. So that's true, but I feel like the reason why there were so many leaks with season 2 is because of Baby Yoda. Like, because Baby Yoda was kept so well and became this big phenomenon that people who haven't even watched The Mandalorian know who Baby Yoda is, that I think the reason why so much leaked from season 2 is because everyone wanted to be the person that found the next Baby Yoda. Like, they wanted to be the person that broke the next Baby Yoda before everyone else. And I think that's why we went from a show where literally the only leak was there's gonna be a kid in it. You go from that to, I mean, frickin' practically every part of this season has been called, which I find really unfortunate. I don't like leak culture. As much as I love seeing Bo-Katan, I would have loved it more if I didn't think it was possible because people had kind of leaked Katie Sackhoff a long time ago.
Well, and despite me saying I want, you know, to know what's going to happen next week, I'm still okay with the fact that we never get and on next week's episode, we like never get that.
We never do.
Just don't tell us.
You don't get to know anything. I do. I agree. I like that too. But I think I do have to get going, but I appreciate everybody being here for the stream. If you haven't already, please like or dislike the stream, I suppose. If you were like, you only talked about The Mandalorian for like 2 minutes. Georgie says we haven't seen, you're correct, we haven't seen any footage. I think like all of the footage we've seen existed in the episodes we've seen so far. So it's crazy. But thank you everybody for being here. It was wonderful to talk to everyone, and I will see you all around. Bye.
Bye.